Today on Rappler. The Commission on Elections cancels the registration of Duterte Youth party list. The Netherlands denies the application for asylum of former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque. The MMDA warns of a fake website similar to May Huli Ka traffic violation checker. Former OFW Jane Veloso is still waiting to testify against her recruiters for human trafficking. And a U.S. judge blocks the Trump administration's passport policy on transgender and non-binary Americans. The Commission on Elections 2nd Division votes 2-1 to cancel the registration of the Duterte Youth party list. The decision stems from a 2019 case youth leaders filed alleging that Duterte Youth was not a genuine representation of the youth. The division also ruled that the party list group committed grounds for cancellation when it nominated its chairman Ronald Cardema to sit as youth representative despite being overage. Comelec chairman George Garcia says the group may still file for a motion of reconsideration when the Comelec en banc would hear the case. Duterte Youth won 3 seats in the 2025 midterm elections, but its proclamation was suspended due to serious allegations raised in pending cases before the Comelec. Up to 3 defeated party-list groups can benefit if Duterte Youth's disqualification becomes final. Gabriela, ranked 55, Abono, ranked 56, and Ang Provinciano, ranked 57. It could take a while for another party list to fill the vacancy since the decision can be appealed all the way to the Supreme Court. The Netherlands denies former Philippine Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque's asylum application. Philippine Justice Secretary Boying Remulla says Roque is now in Germany. Remulla also says it is now up to Germany to give Roque asylum. Asylum is protection given by a country to a person who has left their home country as a political refugee. Following former President Rodrigo Duterte's International Criminal Court arrest, Roque appeared in The Hague after months away from the public. He then announced he would apply for Dutch asylum. At the time, Roque had only an arrest order from the House of Representatives after they cited him in contempt, thus allowing him to travel under the radar, reportedly to the United Arab Emirates and China. As of May 15, Roque has an arrest warrant issued by a Pampanga court over charges of qualified trafficking in persons in relation to his alleged ties to a Philippine offshore gaming operator. In April, the DOJ said it will block Roque's asylum bid, but for now, Remulla says they are waiting for the cancellation of Roque's passport. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority warns of a fake website resembling the MMDA's no-contact apprehension traffic violation checking site, May Huli Ka. The phishing site, titled May Huli Ba, with a letter B instead of K, tries to get information from prospective users, such as license plate numbers, among other things. The MMDA urges users to make sure they are visiting legitimate MMDA-affiliated links and reminds people they could go to the official website at mayhulika.mmda.gov.ph to check the status of any offenses they may have incurred. Additionally, MMDA Hotline 136 is also available to answer queries from the public. Former overseas Filipino worker Jane Veloso is still waiting to testify against her recruiters for human trafficking. Veloso's lawyers asked the Supreme Court to allow her to testify from the prison facility in Mandaluyong. The High Court is yet to act upon the request. Veloso spent 14 years on the Indonesian death row for drug smuggling before she was transferred to the Philippines in December 2024. She is the final witness in a case filed against her recruiters for human trafficking, illegal recruitment, and estafa at a Nueva Ecija court. Court hearing schedules have been reset due to procedural reasons and scheduling conflicts since March 2025. The latest hearing was set for Wednesday, June 18, but Veloso's legal team said the court rescheduled because the High Court has yet to rule on the motions to allow the hearing to take place at the prison facility. In 2015, Veloso was spared from execution in Indonesia. Calls for President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to grant Veloso a pardon continue. In the United States, a federal judge blocks U.S. President Donald Trump's administration from refusing to issue passports to transgender and non-binary Americans that reflect their gender identities. U.S. District Judge Julia Kobik in Boston expands a preliminary injunction she issued in April. She earlier allowed 6 transgender and non-binary individuals who challenged the policy to obtain passports consistent with their gender identities or with an X sex designation. She says Tuesday, June 12, granting class action civil status to 2 categories of passport holders was appropriate, given that the administration's actions affected them uniformly by, quote, preventing them from obtaining passports with a sex marker consistent with their gender identity. Lee Nowlin Sol, a lawyer for the plaintiffs, calls the ruling a critical victory against discrimination. After returning to office in January, Trump signed an executive order directing the government to recognize only two biologically distinct sexes, male and female. Prior to Trump, the State Department for more than 3 decades allowed people to update the sex designation on their passports. And that's today's wrap. I'm Kara Oliver. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. Follow us on Rappler's YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok.